Well, in general, we have to be careful, for example, how we choose our supply chains. I think this is the big lesson we've learned from the pandemic, and we are now learning from Russia's unjustified war in Ukraine that it is not only about business and profit, but supply chains also have to be resilient. And we call this resilient if they are with trustworthy and partners that we really can rely on.
Is China trustworthy, do you think?
Well, we have a very ambivalent relationship to China. There are topics where we're working well together. This is, for example, fighting climate change. This is also in China's interest. There are topics where we are strong competitors, that is the economy, and there are topics where we are systemic rivals, and this is governance model and, of course, human rights. So therefore, we are very vigilant what supply chains with China is concerned. Important is never have only one supply chain. This is you're too dependent. Have a diversification of supply chains. That's the lesson we have learned in Europe. And rely on your trustworthy partners. For us, it's, for example, the United States or Canada. Where we really want to intensify our supply chain.
It sounds like you're describing a new heightened sense of alert when it comes to Beijing now.
Well, this is, we are observing the development, and we want a level playing field for our companies, our business sector. This is not always given, so we are adamant on insisting on that. And then we are very clear that our values come first. We are looking, for example, in the supply chains, and we have started proposing a law to our Parliament and our Council, where there needs to be taken responsibility how the supply chains are organized. For example, is there forced labor? Then this product should not reach the European market. Is there child labor? This product should not reach the European market. Of course, there are other elements too. A heavy carbon footprint is difficult. So you see that, as always, I think it's important. The business part is crucial, but never at the expense of or at the costs for our values.
Very strong words in your speech. When do we get the oil embargo, though? Because we need more than words.
Yeah, absolutely. We got rid already of Russian coal. By cutting the supply from Russian coal. Now we're working on the oil embargo very hard. It is for us important that we work on the oil embargo in a way that we do not enable Putin to take oil he didn't deliver to Europe and sell it at higher prices on the world market. Therefore, this has to be a very tailored approach, which we are working on. Now member states are really good. Supportive. The principle is diversify away to other suppliers and try to replace also for the overall energy topic whatever you can with renewable energy.
Have you been frustrated that not everybody has seemed as keen to sign up to the embargo as you might have hoped?
Well, if I look at the last 3 months, we have unleashed 5 packages of sanctions, and we were, before the war, the biggest trading partner to Russia. This is over. This is history now. But you can imagine how much we sanctioned. And even Volodymyr Zelensky in his speech here in Davos praised the unprecedented unity of the democracies, and Europe's unity and resolve and determination to act was outstanding in the last 3 months. So this is what I see. Behind that is always hard work.
But are we talking days? Are we talking weeks? Are we talking months? Are we talking hours to get that deal done?
I hope we're talking about days. So what we're looking at is 1 or 2 member states that are landlocked member states, so cannot have oil via the sea. Need alternatives in pipelines and in refineries. And there we try to find solutions how to make this possible, to create the solidarity that they get the oil from somewhere else, and that we support them in investments in renewables.
The challenge, as always, is getting everybody onto the same page. You've talked about this fund to help Ukraine, but there are countries like Germany. Christian Lindner has already expressed some reservations about the idea of raising joint debt to make this fund a reality. Is there another path or ultimately will the Germans just have to concede they buy in to raising debt for the fund?
So we're not speaking about the financing mechanism, but about a platform that we create, led by Ukraine and the European Commission, to organize the reconstruction of Ukraine, which will be strong investment, but coupled with reforms of the country. It should be a platform where everybody can chip in. Our international partners, we will need them. The international financial institutions, but also here in Davos, private business is necessary. And there are different initiatives worldwide. We want to combine them so that it is coherent, well organized. A second step is then to speak about how to fund it. And there will be different ways. The World Bank will have a different approach. The OECD will have a different approach. We have to combine all these initiatives. For us in the European Union, of course, we will carry a fair share. But the member states decide on how the financing will be operated.
Do you think German resistance can be overcome on joint debt issuance?
I have witnessed Germany really being constructive in those weeks when we deal with this war, and we've always found solutions. So I'm very positive and confident that we'll find a good solution.
You've talked about seizing Russian assets as a way of paying for reconstruction. What international law currently allows you to do that at this stage? Is there a pathway, and what does that pathway look like? I
said if possible because it's not trivial, but I think there is a feeling all over the world that also Russia should be part of the reconstruction effort. And we're looking into legal ways and means now to seize partially assets, either of the oligarchs, depends on what role they played, or of the Russian government. As I said, it is not trivial, but if the whole world is standing up to support Ukraine to rise from the ashes, also Russia should give its fair share.
Is there anything you can do to ease the grain blockade at the moment, to provide supportive routes for that grain to get to global food markets? Because everybody is worried about food poverty and the price that is being paid at the moment by those who are the poorest.
Yeah, 20 million tons are stuck in Ukraine of wheat at the moment being. And we're trying everything to support Ukraine by that, so providing transport modes, be it trucks or be it trains. Of course, it's not as efficient as if you have the shiploads. It is worth to think about mechanism to de-block the blockading of the Black Sea. This needs intensive diplomacy. This needs security in those routes. But we're not there yet. But talks are ongoing. The future will show, the near future will show, whether Russia is willing really to support the poorest in the world and the most vulnerable countries by just stopping the blockading of the Black Sea. It's urgent.
And let me just ask you a question about business as usual that really isn't about the Russian invasion. It's about the funding mechanism for Europe. The Commission is talking about pushing out for another year the fiscal rules. The Commission was also on a pathway to perhaps fining Poland for its behaviour around the rule of law in that country. In terms of both of those issues, one, do you think you can get broad agreement to push out the fiscal rules? And two, is Poland now off the naughty step because they have taken so many Ukrainian refugees? Is that why that process has been suspended?
So you're right. We have our big recovery program called Next Generation EU, 800 billion euros. This is important, and within that financial structure are the fiscal rules, still eased because of the pandemic, and we decided to keep it ongoing. This is a proposal to the Council, and I think by summer we will have a result. Your question on Poland, it is outstanding what the Polish people are doing. They opened their hearts, their minds, their houses for by now more than 6 million refugees that came not only to Poland, also Romania, also Slovakia, Hungary. and moved on partially to Germany, but that are being taken care of in Europe. We have, and we are discussing with Poland on a different topic, that is the rule of law. We will not mix the one or the other, the care for the refugees and the rule of law, but the encouraging news is that our negotiations with Poland have progressed very well, so that the principle we have with every member state, you do the reform on the independence of the judiciary, and this will be coupled with the investment from Next Generation EU. It's quite a large sum for Poland. We're almost there, so I'm positive that we'll find a solution.